everybody, welcome back to Yard Sale Squad. Today's vlog is going to include a lot of cooking. This was just a very kitchen heavy vlog, but I hope that it can be something that you can enjoy and come away with some inspiration and with some delicious recipes. Come on, let's spend the day together. So this vlog actually begins the night before. So I started out making homemade yogurt. If you've watched my channel for any length of time, you may know that I make yogurt a couple times a month. I use our Instant Pot to do this, and I learned how to do this from Lisa from Farmhouse on Boone. You basically just heat milk up, and then once it cools, you add a little bit of yogurt starter or just Greek yogurt, and then you let that process, and it stays at a consistent temperature for at least 8 hours. And then after that, you can choose to strain it if you want to make it thicker like Greek yogurt. So I just let that go all night. So now this is the next morning, and I am starting out reading my devotional and spending some time in the Word. And then after that, I'm going to kind of journal a little bit. I'm really working to make this more of a habit. I've started using my habit tracker in my planner, and now I'm journaling in my Next Right Thing journal. So as the morning moves along, I've talked about before that getting dressed before moving into the kitchen for me just really helps. I don't always do it, but if I can get dressed before packing lunches and before making breakfast and all of those things, it just kind of helps me to keep moving. I like a slow morning, but sometimes if I'm in pajamas, it's a very slow morning, and then we end up having to kind of do a mad dash at the end, which is never fun. So today I'm just packing lunches and asking Andy what kind of sandwich she wanted and just getting everything all set up. I've also started washing our produce and soaking it in vinegar and then going ahead and having that ready. It's so much easier when I'm packing lunches to throw the fruit in and it's already washed, as opposed to me having to wash and dry it every single day. So that's just kind of one little thing that I have implemented. I really enjoy packing lunches, and I used to use cookie cutters a lot for their sandwiches. Sometimes I still do, but I was finding that they were wasting a good bit, so now a lot of times I'll just do a half piece of bread. All right, so school drop-off is done. Sometimes if I know that I'm going to be able to come back home, I wait and do breakfast after I've dropped the kids off because I just know I can rest a little more. So I'm showing you there how I'm kind of just testing my pan to see if it's ready, and it was not. I'm using these little condiment cups to create a hole in the bread. I love these cups, by the way. We just got them, and they are really making packing lunches so great. It's kind of just opened up so many possibilities, and now I can pack things that before I couldn't because they would leak into their lunch boxes. So anyway, now you're seeing that my pan's ready. I always do this little water test, and if the water sizzles, it's not ready and it's not going to be nonstick. But if your water creates little water beads that kind of hover on the surface like that, then that's how you know it's ready. So today for my breakfast, I'm making eggs in a nest. Some people call this egg in a hole or egg in a basket. But basically, the idea is that you take a piece of bread and you make a little hole in the center, and that's where you put your egg. So I always just salt and pepper it. And then whenever I get ready to flip, I just add a little bit more butter and just go ahead and flip the bread and let it cook through so that your egg kind of cooks through to the middle. And then you see there, I've got that little piece of bread, and you'll see in a minute what I do with that. But this is something that I ate growing up, and I really like it. So I like to put ham on mine, and then I think that Swiss cheese is the best cheese for breakfast things, especially when combined with ham. So I'm just using my cheese grater to grate some of that on there. And then I kind of just turned the heat down because I didn't want my yolk to get all the way done, and I wanted that cheese to be able to melt. So I just turned my heat down and put the lid on. So that little circle of bread can be used for jam, for honey, or like I'm using apple butter, and it's just a little taste of something sweet that doesn't give you too much sugar, but it's just a nice little addition to breakfast. And a lot of times, if I have a quiet moment at breakfast, I like to look at a magazine. I just find that it's really inspirational. This is my idea of a perfectly done yolk. Partially set is the way to go for me. So I wanted to show you a few things in this magazine that I found inspirational. The first was this article all about hellebores. So these are actually a plant that my mom grows. She got them from one of our plant-loving friends. And I had never thought about bringing them inside and displaying them inside. So I just really appreciated this article. They really went in depth about the different types of hellebores. And then I thought this picture was really interesting. It's not even that these are the specific finishes or fabrics that I would choose, but I was just so inspired by the mixing of textures and patterns, and I like the interest that that brings. This is what was on the cover, I believe, and I just love seeing before and afters like this, where the before is fine, but then the after really just is so stunning. And so attention grabbing. The contrast is nice. As Michael N. Smith says, contrast is queen if you want to be seen. So I really appreciated looking at these changes and, like it said, prioritize the statement makers. I just found that it was really interesting. And then, of course, I always look at the recipes, and this little article called Let's Do Brunch was really cute. This is a Swiss chard and bacon grits quiche. I don't think I've ever actually had Swiss chard, so you'll have to let me know down in the comments if you've had it and maybe what it's like. They had a salad here that looked really delicious, and then they had these little, what are they called? I don't even remember what they called them. Palmiers. One of them was like cinnamon sugar and one of them was cheese. Okay, these biscuits are definitely going on my to-try list. Cream cheese biscuits with sharp cheddar butter and quick strawberry ginger jam. I just think this whole spread just looks so lovely. The styling of this picture is really pretty. And then these little layered desserts also looked really pretty. So I always just enjoy those recipes, especially, a little spread like that. And then I have made 2 cheesecakes in the past month, and I thought that this was really interesting. I think next time I will try to line my pan this way, but I thought it was really neat how they showed this, and honestly, this could be a really neat way of teaching fractions.
Blue, brown, gray. What pattern should I do next year? Let's do purple. Let's do purple and orange. Orange. Purple.
Okay, we're going to make some butterscotch cookies. This is the recipe that we're going to use, and Abram's going to help me make them. These make a delicious cookie. They're my husband's favorite cookies, and you can see they make a large amount. It says they make 6 dozen. For me, it makes, around 45, but they freeze really well. So this is the recipe that we use. It's one of the only few recipes that I actually use vegetable shortening in. So I've got that right over here. And the recipe is actually pretty similar to the one that's on the back of the package. There's a couple of slight differences, but these are the butterscotch chips from Aldi. So we're gonna go ahead and get these in the oven. Can you read step number 1?
Sift flour.
Powder.
Flour, powder, and soda. And salt. Set aside.
So we're going to sift flour, baking powder, baking soda, and salt, and set that aside.
Here, where's the...
Okay.
I think because I always do that.
Yeah, finish sifting.
It's getting out smooth.
Good, that's what we want.
I don't see clumps.
Good.
1 cup shortening.
I know I have mentioned this before, but cooking is such a great hands-on way for kids to learn. It's such a bonding experience, but also reading and following directions and practicing good hand washing and sanitation. And it's also kind of a science experiment, and you learn how things work together. I really love cooking with my kids, and it's something that I have to make time for, that I have to be intentional about, but they really do enjoy helping in the kitchen. Maybe an hour and a half, hour, I don't know.
All right.
The reason we usually like to make the cookies the same size is so that you don't wind up with this one super crunchy and this one not done at all. See what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to make them roughly the same size. Okay, I'm trying to find a real quick crock-pot chicken leg recipe. I did those Asian ones the other day and those turned out really good, but I kind of want to try something different. These, you coat them in spices and then put barbecue sauce on top.
Oh, I think that'll actually taste really good.
Well, hey everybody, today's Wednesday and we were supposed to do an outdoor day today, but it has been really raining today. It actually hasn't been thunderstorming like they were calling for, but lots of rains. So anyway, we are just doing school at home. We're doing lots of cooking and hands-on learning. I'm making a new recipe for just like barbecue crock-pot drumsticks. And you're supposed to lay the chicken out and do the spice rub, and I'm just gonna do it right in the bag because my baking sheets are in use, and even if they weren't, I don't really want to dirty up another one. So I'm going to toss the chicken legs in the bag with the spices, and then I'm going to put the barbecue sauce over them. All right, so let's get this chicken going, and then I'm actually gonna get to go have coffee with a friend, which is not something that happens very often. I'm very excited. Okay. This next bit is called Life with Boys.
Have you added the barbecue sauce yet?
No, you pour that over top once those are in the crock pot. It's disgusting sounding.
It is a lovely sound.
All right, so we are back from coffee. It's middle of the afternoon and oh my gosh, it was so good. I have not gotten together with somebody and just like had coffee and talked in a long time, and we talked about homeschool and rhythms and, you know, things that are working and things that are not, and I just need more regular things like that in my life. It is so good to have friends and to talk through the things that are going well and things that need work, and people that are kind of in the same stages or similar stages as you. And then definitely there's also value to hear from people that are, you know, stages ahead of you and have been through where you are. But it was so good. We just got back. I actually have not had lunch. I had that eggs in a nest, kind of as a late breakfast. I've had one of my bottles of water. I've been drinking from this, and it's 32 ounces. So I'm trying to drink 2 to 3 of them a day. So I'm gonna refill that. I am gonna have like a little, kind of a heavier snack. I'm not really gonna have lunch, but like a heavier snack. I just had one of the cookies. They are a cookie that you really kind of have to watch. Some of them are a little bit more done and they're more like a biscotti. So it's very good to drink and dip in milk or dip in coffee. It's very good to drink coffee or milk, you know, with those. But then there's a couple that are like just perfect. So next time I make them, I really need to pay attention to the length of the baking time, because the recipe just says till golden brown, which is very difficult because they're one of those cookies when you pull them out, it doesn't look like they're all the way done. And so by the time they look like they're the appropriate golden brownness, they're already more of that biscotti level. And I really like them to be still a little soft on the inside. My yogurt just finished. I got that going last night and I decided to do a longer ferment. I usually just do 8 hours. And then I decided to do 12 or 14. Well, then I went to coffee, so I just bumped it up a little bit. So it's gone for over 15 hours now. This is my first time ever doing that. So I'll have to give you some feedback on how that goes. I just thought I'd try like a longer ferment. And then over here, I have the chicken going for supper. So I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna eat lunch, and I don't know, just work on a couple of things here. This morning we did some school time. I did some planner time and wrote some things in the planner, just trying to get a little bit ahead of spring and all the Easter things going on, all that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna have that late lunch now. So here's an example of the ones that are just perfect. They're like slightly soft in the middle. If I were to push this, it would pull apart. And here's another example of this is really how they should look, as opposed to Like this is more of the hard biscotti look, and same thing here. I think that the cookie size definitely plays a part. Of course, that this is much softer than this, but we also had little hands, so our sizes are a little inconsistent. But even mine are a good size, but a little harder than I had hoped they would be. They're still a delicious cookie, even still. So kids are playing, and here's how our chicken's looking so far. It's looking good. Smells really good too. So I really didn't know what I was going to make for my little snack / late lunch, but we had a tiny bit of Spanish rice left. So I just put that in a tortilla with some sour cream and some salsa. And looking back on this day, I didn't have a lot of vegetables. So my next meal needs to be a big salad. But anyway. All right, supper is going, and I'm experiencing some heartburn, gas, anxiety. I don't know. I don't feel the best. So I'm going to lay down for a few minutes before I have to go teach a little bit. I don't know. I just don't feel great, but I'm going to change out our seasonal books. So I have this bin this is what I usually keep our seasonal books in. And I'm not going to tell you that I still have Christmas books out here because, well, that would just be ridiculous, wouldn't it? It's almost April and we still have the seasonal books out here. So anyway, that's going to shift now. So I changed out the books. We have considerably less spring books than we do Halloween or Christmas, but that's okay. I'm going to supplement with some from the library, and I'll just keep in mind that if I see any Easter or spring books at yard sales, maybe that's something that I could pick up. I think I figured out why I feel bad. I think it's from the coffee. I'm not positive, but 9 times out of 10 when I get a drink from a coffee shop, I don't know if it's because it's made with espresso or if it's the sugar content. I got something that I thought was kind of low sugar. It was just honey in it. Or if it's the milk, or if it's a combination of all of it. But almost always when I get a drink from a coffee shop, I feel yucky. And I think that's why I feel bad. Man. Like I just feel unsettled. And a lot of times that's how I feel when I get a drink from a coffee shop. I don't feel that way when I make my coffee here, but I feel like that at a coffee shop. But anyway, the kids are going to watch a show. Brandon just got home from work. And I'm getting ready to head out to teach a couple lessons. I did end up having one small chicken leg with a little bit of the mashed potatoes, and the sauce made a delicious gravy to go over the potatoes. I ended up washing my hair and having a nice shower, and then I ended the night with reading a little bit in my book. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be talking to you soon.